All right, in this video, we're going to take a look at UCLA. Back to Sports is going back to college, and UCLA is one of the big three teams, in my opinion, going into the 25-26 season. Yes, relax, Texas, LSU, I'll get to you as well. But this one's on UCLA. Last year, the ending was disappointing for them as they went down to 34 points to UConn, but the overall season was a massive success because they got their big breakthrough. Corey Close did at least and made the Final Four. If she would not have made the Final Four with that team, it would have been very, very ugly for her. In addition, along the way, they got to take out LSU, which would have been nice for them to avenge the previous year's loss. Now, after the season, a bit of chaos or uncertainty as their entire freshman class went into the transfer portal. So that being Elena Arnicello, Kendall Dudley, Avery Kane, and Big Z. In addition, there were other losses. That being Jayana Barker and London Jones. They also transferred out. Barker going to the Vols and London Jones to crosstown rival USC. But I always say the portal giveth, the portal taketh, and man, did the portal give them. I think overall, they landed one of the biggest catches, obviously, in the portal, Gianna Neepkins. That might have been the best fit for need. In addition, they also add Charlize Ledger-Walker. Now, they got her through the portal over a year ago, but she missed last year as she was still recovering from her ACL injury that she sustained while playing for Washington State. And in my mind, I would take those two players and would do a trade with the players that they lost. I would not sweat it at all. And this is really talking if you're looking at winning for this year. Now, long term, you don't want to lose your entire freshman class because that gives you depth for the future. But for this season alone, yeah, I'm not worried. Or if I was a UCLA fan, I would not be worried about losing London Jones. She was always streaky. She can win you a game, no doubt, but then again, she can lose you a game, and I feel she hurts oftentimes the defense and struggles to get her shot off. Barker was never a fit. I think that was almost a mistake. Corey Close bringing her in is it never seemed to fit right. I think it was always going to be a struggle because you have Lauren Betts in there that can't really shoot from outside. And I always thought the lineups looked better when they had Gardner and Dugliich who have outside games to be combined with Lauren Betts. Barker was never a fit. I think it is a win-win her going into the portal is I think the Tennessee Vols will allow her to showcase the skills that she has, which will be up pressure defense, transition, and just letting her play free and hard. And I think that's what Barker does best. So I think the losses aren't a big deal for UCLA. And the obvious reason for that is they still remain stacked. Let's start going through the front court first. Lauren Betts, 6'7", and just one of the most dominant players in women's college basketball. Averaged 20 points, 9.5 rebounds, 2.7 assists last year. And she upped her assists last year by almost one a game. She's starting to do a better job of reading the defense and passing the ball out. At times, tough matchups or teams like USC where they have sort of big guards and forwards that can attack her on the double teams. That's why it's so critical that she has shooters around her to help spread the court. The other one I forgot to mention, so her field goal shooting percentage, 64%. It's all from within the key, like all around the basket. I question that at the next level. I think she needs to move her game out a little bit more. But in the college game, she's about as good as you want to get for a post player, obviously. Her sidekick, I think, who will be the other big side-by-side with her, will be Angelina Dugliich. Last year, she averaged 7.4 points per game, 47% from the floor. Her three-point shooting percentage was 34%. Effective field goal shooting percentage is 49%. She took 2.6 three-point attempts per game. So shooting 34% on 2.6 attempts, good, and that helps mash well with Betts. But that's not the only big they have that can shoot. Obviously, Tamia Gardner, who came over the year before from Oregon State, she averaged 7.6 points per game, shooting 41% from the floor. Her three-point shooting percentage was 39%, giving her an effective field goal shooting percentage of 56%. She took a lot of threes and made a lot of threes last year. So 4.5 3-point attempts per game. Now, most teams would be very happy with that three-tier arrangement of their bigs, but UCLA just keeps on getting richer. They scored the number 2 recruit. Coming in 25-26, Sienna Betts. Now, she's 6'4". Her game's a little bit different to Lauren. She's not the just total back to the basket post player. She has a little bit of a face-up game, can finish with her left and right hand as well, and she'll be a good player. There's just no doubt. So they are stacked in the front court. I suspect the starters are obviously going to be Lauren Betts and Angeline Dugliich. More for defense. So last year, if you look at their minutes, Lauren Betts got 30 minutes per game. Dugliich was at 21 minutes. And then Gardner was 18 minutes. Corey Close is talking about reducing Betts' playing time and as well her touches. That was sort of, she talked to her in the offseason saying, hey, I want to cut down the load on you. Here's how I want to do it. In the article I read, Close had a few meetings with Lauren Betts to get her to buy in. And now, reportedly, Lauren Betts is all bought in on this plan. So her minutes will likely go down, maybe to like 28 or 27 per game. Her usage rate last year was 28%. Now, I quickly want to take a look at Dugliich and Gardner's on-off, as that might give indications. That's why I think Dugliich is going to start. So Dugliich, their net rating was plus 34.1 with her on, and it was 21.2 with her off. But more importantly, I think what Corey Close is going to look at when she was on the court, UCLA on defense would give up 79.3 points. When she was off, that was 89.9. Now, Tamia Gardner, her on-off, she was 21.5 on the court, and then when she went off, UCLA was actually better at 32.8. And then on defense, if you look at that, when she was on the court, her defense, they would give up 89.6 points per 100, so that's 10 points worse than Dugliich. And then when she went off, UCLA would only give up 80.4 points per 100. Now, you could make an argument on this. How much did Tamia Gardner play with Betts last year? Well, that was 380 minutes versus Dugliich that got to play with Lauren Betts 472 minutes. So are Dugliich's numbers better because she had more time with Lauren Betts? Very much possibly. However, I still think Dugliich is going to start if they're both healthy, because Dugliich is a fifth-year senior. I think she's been in college for 6 years. And Gardner gives you that firepower off the bench. She can quickly change a game if she comes off the bench and hot. And I think that's a massive threat that UCLA likes. Now let's move to the backcourt, and they're stacked there as well with UCLA. So with Gianna Kneepkens coming across, she's 5'11". I suspect that she will be, if you like, the forward off guard, replacing Gabrielle Jaquez. And just, I take that just based on the numbers. So Kneepkens at Utah, they're ridiculous. 19 points per game, 5 rebounds, shot 50% from the floor, 3-point shooting percentage was 44%, effective field goal shooting percentage 62%. She took 6.8 3-point attempts per game. She's just a really good player and really good shooter, which is why it's so exciting her. She'll get a lot of open shots with Lauren Betts, and it should be a really good compliment. I think Jaquez will likely move to the bench, in my opinion, and she's a chameleon. She can fit in any way, anyhow. She has a game where she can cut to the basket, but she can hit open shots as well. Her stats bear that out. Last year, she scored 9.6 points per game, shot 52% from the floor, 34% from the three-point line, took 2.5 three-pointers per game, and her effective field goal shooting percentage was 58%, and she plays really solid defense. As with her on-court, UCLA would give up 83 points per 100 possession. With her off-court, that would increase to 85 points per 100. Now, the other two starting guards will be Charlize Leger-Walker and Kiki Rice. Leger-Walker is going to solve, hopefully, a big issue for UCLA, as one of their big problems last year was they turned over the ball too much. The big culprits from last season were Alina Arnasalo, who turned over the ball 28% on her possessions that she had. That was 12% in the country. That is not good. Kiki Rice was not great either. She had 16% of her possessions turned in turnovers, which was 64th percentile. Now, you would think that would be improved with Leger-Walker, but just to be warned, her career shooting percentage from the floor is 38%. Her three-point shooting percentage is 30%. And the last 2 years she played, she averaged over 3 turnovers per game. The other one to keep your eye on is Kiki Rice. She had shoulder surgery after the season. You could tell during the season she was wearing strapping on her shoulder. It didn't impact her game too much. She still averaged 12 points. Her shooting was almost the best it's ever been, shooting 48% from the floor. Her three-point shot was 36% on 2.5 attempts, and her effective field goal shooting percentage was 53%. But will she be limited initially early on? I doubt it. Normally, if it's been a slap repair or a shoulder stabilization, those generally about a 6-month recovery, and she got it straight after the season. So I think she should be ready to go at the start of preseason. Now, the last player to keep your eye on is Lena Bilic. She's part of their freshman class. She's from Croatia. She's 6'2". On the highlights, she can shoot, and she's long. But I imagine her time will be a bit limited just because how stacked UCLA is, but to be determined. So as you look at UCLA's roster, like I said, despite the losses, they are just stacked when you look at their 8, if you like. Lauren Betts at center, Duglic, I think, power forward. Neepkins, Kiki Rice, Ledger Walker in the backcourt. And then off the bench, you got Sienna Betts, Gardner, and Jaquez. Now, overall, I think this team is just going to be really fun to watch because you can see that starting lineup is going to be really good. But then again, they can mix and match. If they want to go small, they could go Ledger Walker, Rice, Neepkins, Jaquez, and Betts, and that lineup will be effective. And seeing what lineups are the most effective should be a fun game throughout the season, which I'm looking forward to seeing. Corey Close, I've criticized her in the past. I do like that she is who she is. She wears her heart on her sleeve. I think she treats the media well and is a good servant to the game. And I guess really that's all you can ask. It was a big step last year making the Final Four. Now the question, with this talent, can they get over the top and win a championship? Obviously, UConn and South Carolina are in the way. UCLA and this team's able to come together to win a championship. That's a story I don't mind at all. Just because it's seniors that have played together for a long time. Jaquez with Kiki Rice, and then Lauren Betts with her battles, and Corey Close with people like me criticizing her and telling her she can't get it done. I think it would be a good storybook ending for this team, and I'm fine by that if they're able to get it. An early test and indication of how good this team is and where they stack up versus the other teams will be the Players Era Championship. I think that's what it's called, the Thanksgiving tournament. And they'll start off with Texas. That will be a really good battle. I would suspect that UCLA's offense will give it to Texas, but you just never know. And then hopefully we'll get a rematch of UCLA, South Carolina, although quite possibly Texas could spoil that and Duke might spoil South Carolina's day, to be determined. I want that matchup, so it probably won't happen. But anyway, I would like to get that one for over the Thanksgiving break. I look forward to getting gouged once again by Flow TV. I will make sure to turn off the automatic renew that I forgot last time. So I got another month billed to me last time when UConn was in their tournament. Anyway, now it's over to you. What are your thoughts? UCLA championship, do you see it happening? And overall, where do you see UCLA going? Do you see them back to the Final Four? All your comments and poison, it's welcome. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great night.